Now let's look at the for loop in PHP. And for loops are really ideal when you want to use a counter like we've been doing in our while loops and our do while loops. So let me start with the syntax. I'm going to re-implement this while loop as a for loop. It's going to do exactly the same thing. So I'm going to start by echoing UL, and then I'm going to say for, and then I have an initialization clause. So this is the initialization clause, $i equals 0, semicolon. And then I have a condition clause. So $i less than count of fruits. And this is going to be the test that's run each time. And then I have one more clause, which is the iteration step. And in the iteration step, I'm going to increment I, just like in my while loop. And then I have the loop body. And the loop body is going to be exactly the same as in the while loop, except that I don't need to increment I again because I'm already doing it here. And then after I've output the fruits, I'm going to close off my unordered list. And this should do the same thing as the while loop does. And I get the exact same results as with the while loop. So what's the advantage? Well, you can write everything just using a while loop, but this is a little bit more concise. Once you get used to the syntax, it's a little complicated getting used to the syntax. But it's a little more concise, and somebody who's seeing a for loop is going to be immediately clued into the fact that you're using a loop control variable, I, that's going to get incremented each time through the loop. Now I can also write the fruits in descending order using a for loop. So this time I'm going to start I out at count of $fruits minus 1. So that's the last item in the list. And then I'm going to loop while I is greater than or equal to 0. And each time through the loop, I'm going to decrement the value of I. I ended up with an extra parenthesis there. Like so. So, first time I hit the for loop, it sets I to be 5 minus 1, which is 4. Then it checks this condition. 4 is greater than or equal to 0, so it executes the loop body. It's going to output a list item with fruit sub 4, which is kiwi. And then when it hits the end of the loop, it loops back, picks up this iteration clause, sets I to 3, and then checks the condition again. This is still true, so I output fruit sub 3, which is strawberry, loop back up, set I to 2, 2 is greater than 0, so I output cherry, loop back, output apple, loop back, output banana, loop back, set I to I minus 1, which is going to be minus 1 now because it was at 0 before. This is now going to be false, so it's going to drop back down to the closing bracket and proceed with the next line. So once again, just like a while loop, except it's a little more concise. And let's go ahead and reload. And I have my fruits in reverse order.